A quiet Swedish town, a brutal double murder, and a killer who vanished without a trace. For 16 years, the case went cold, until a single drop of blood cracked it wide open. This is the story of Sweden's most chilling unsolved mystery, and the breakthrough that finally brought justice. Welcome to Dark Files, where we uncover the darkest, most baffling mysteries the world has to offer. Today, we dive into a case that haunted Sweden for over a decade, the 2004 double homicide that left investigators stumped and a community shattered. Thanks to cutting-edge DNA technology and the relentless pursuit of justice, the case was finally solved, but not without raising new, unsettling questions. It was a cold evening in Linköping, Sweden, November 19th, 2004. The morning rush had just begun when screams pierced the air. Witnesses would later recall a man covered in blood, fleeing the scene with a knife in hand. Two people were dead, 8-year-old Mohamed Ammouri and 56-year-old Anna-Lena Svensson. They had never met. Their only connection? Being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Mohamed was on his way to school. Anna-Lena was running errands. Both were brutally stabbed in what appeared to be a random, senseless act of violence. The attack was so vicious that investigators immediately believed it was personal. But they were wrong. Police launched one of the largest investigations in Swedish history. Witnesses provided descriptions of the suspect. A young man with a slim build, disheveled, seemingly in a frenzy. Blood was found at the crime scene along with a murder weapon. They had DNA, but no match in any criminal database. Years passed. Hundreds of tips flooded in. Sketches were released. Profiles were built. But the suspect remained a ghost. The case grew cold, gathering dust, while families grieved, and a community lived in fear, wondering if a killer was still among them. Fast forward to 2020, Swedish authorities decided to try something radical, something that had only recently started to gain traction in criminal investigations: genetic genealogy. Using advanced DNA analysis, they uploaded the killer's genetic profile to public genealogy databases. This method, famously used to catch the Golden State Killer in the US, searches for distant relatives of a suspect, building family trees backward to identify potential matches. It worked. Investigators found distant relatives of the suspect, allowing them to narrow down their search. Eventually, it led them to a name: Daniel Nyqvist, a man with no prior criminal record and no known connection to the victims. Nyqvist was living an ordinary life, blending into society without raising suspicion. When confronted, he confessed almost immediately. His reason? He claimed he was angry at the world. No remorse. No detailed explanation. Just a cold, emotionless admission. Forensic evidence matched him to the crime scene. His DNA was a perfect match. After 16 years, the case was closed. But for many, the answers raised more questions than they solved. Mental illness. Some believe Nyqvist suffered from untreated mental health issues, leading to a spontaneous, violent outburst. His lack of prior offenses and random choice of victims support this theory: hidden rage. Others argue that this wasn't random at all, that Nyqvist had been harboring violent tendencies for years, possibly responsible for other unsolved crimes in Sweden. The lone wolf or more. Could Nyqvist have had accomplices or connections to other crimes? Some investigators believe the randomness of the attack might have been part of a larger pattern, yet to be uncovered. The case shook Sweden to its core. Linköping was supposed to be a safe, peaceful town. The randomness of the murders left people questioning their own safety, their neighbors, and the justice system. For the families of Mohamed and Anna-Lena, the resolution brought closure, but not peace. The question of why still lingers, a haunting echo of lives lost too soon. The Linköping case marked a turning point for forensic science in Sweden. It showed that no matter how cold a case gets, DNA doesn't forget. What does this mean for the future? More cold cases reopened with new technology. Ethical debates about privacy and the use of genealogy databases in criminal investigations. A renewed hope that justice can be served, even decades later. The breakthrough in Linköping wasn't just about solving a crime. It was about proving that no matter how dark, how buried, or how forgotten a case might seem, the truth has a way of surfacing. Sometimes, all it takes is a single drop of blood. What do you think about the use of genetic genealogy in solving crimes? Do you believe there are more cases out there just waiting for the right technology to crack them? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like and subscribe